The purpose of this video is to talk about when in Unit 2 it is okay to use AI and when you should avoid it. We've talked about this in the previous video, so I'm just going to kind of recap it a little bit. Remember that we have that language in our syllabus that says, essentially, I will tell you when you're allowed to use AI, and I will definitely tell you when you're not. These videos help to kind of guide you throughout the assignments in the unit, especially if maybe it's not terribly clear in a particular assignment. For the most part, I'll try to make sure that it's clear. But just keep in mind that we do have this syllabus language that says, if it seems like AI has been used to bypass the goals of the learning, I'll give a temporary 0 to the assignment, and then I'll have you do it again. Of course, we can talk about that. So some of the things that we will have throughout the second unit are activities and even more discussions. Some of these discussions and activities will kind of have two parts. There'll be some parts where I really just want to know your take on things. I want to know how you feel about it. And in that case, I don't want you to, copy and paste the question into AI and have it generate a response. I do want to know, how do you feel about something? If you're not sure of your thoughts on a topic, you're welcome to, use something like ChatGPT and say, hey, my teacher wants me to respond to this idea with my thoughts. I've never really thought about it. Can you guide me through some questions so that I can better understand my own thoughts? And some of the times just having it prompt you with additional questions can give you ways to kind of break down an overarching question that you might see in an activity or in a discussion. I'll try to give you some breakdown questions as well, so you may not even need to go this route, but generally speaking, I want your responses to the more, what do you think parts to be, what do you think? There's really never a wrong answer. Most of the time, I don't care about, if your grammar is perfect or if you make a spelling error. That's not the reason I'm asking you to write. It's not to make sure your grammar is perfect. But then also there will be parts of the activities and discussions that I direct you to specifically go to some AI of your choice. I'm usually thinking about ChatGPT when I am creating these types of assignments. But you're welcome to use anything. I mean, you can use whatever is built into Google. You can use, there's things like called Perplexity or Bard, or I know there's plenty of others, but anything that will get the job done. I will have you go and ask AI to, as you'll see this week, ask AI to draft some kind of short paragraph so that we can test, is this human written, is this AI generated, just to kind of take a peek at those differences. So sometimes yes, sometimes no for this unit. You'll notice that in some of the artifacts, I will give you AI prompt generations. And so what I will be asking you to do for these is I'll show you a final output, and I'll ask you to write the prompt that you would need to put into AI in order to get that output. I really would prefer that you'd write those prompts on your own, but then of course you'll need to test if the prompt is working by using an AI to test your prompt generation. So when you're writing the prompts, I want you to try those on your own. I want you to write those on your own. But whenever you are, of course, reflecting on how well the AI was able to carry out the task, you got to use AI to do that. So there will be a situation where, again, it's parts of it, yes, you can use it, parts of it, no, you can't. This unit, since we are kind of done, by the time we get to Unit 2, we're finished with focusing so heavily on voice that if you prefer or you've gotten comfortable using a service like Grammarly to edit your writing, to make some changes, it's okay that you use these kinds of editing AIs. My recommendation just in life is to not allow the AI to edit you so much that your voice gets lost. There's really never an important reason to accept all suggestions for any editing software, whether it's just Microsoft Word, whether it's your email preemptively assuming what you want to say, sometimes just ignore that stuff. But if you're familiar with using something like Grammarly, keep in mind that Grammarly services can get your writing flagged for AI detection using like with the software that we use. Now, that's not really a problem on my end, but if you're using Grammarly for other courses, just be careful with that. But it's fine if you want to use it for editing or proofreading, it's no problem. Also with brainstorming, I'll ask you guys a lot of how can AI be used and would you use it in this way and things like that. And if you're drawing blanks and you're thinking, okay, I've exhausted the list of ideas, but she wants 20 more ideas, you're welcome to consider AI as a helpful tool in brainstorming during this unit. I'm perfectly fine with that. So try it out. That's probably the way that I use AI the most is just, give me 20 ideas to consider and then I'll think about them on my own, but sometimes it's just a nice place to start. And then as usual, this is my last slide. You're always welcome to use AI for tutoring purposes. The library has rolled out a new tutoring platform that does also have an AI tutor enrolled. Enrolled is probably not the right word, but integrated into that platform. And you can find that in our LMS section that I believe says library and tutoring resources. You can find that in there. So if you want to check it out, go for it. Otherwise, if y'all have questions about AI use in Unit 2, just send me an email.